CC should do when it gets in there is to sanitize institutions so that they can work functionally, so that they can be independent. We may go the same route if we don't take even some small opposition party members into some influential positions, because there will be no one to say, no, 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 what you are doing now is wrong. So Zan will tell the High Court, will tell Malaba, will tell so and so, will tell Commander so and so, I want you to do this. And it goes through the chain of all institutions. And there's no resistance. Once you make everything in the government one part, there's disaster. You need balances, you need voices which can say, no, 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 what you are doing right now, we don't agree. Plus, when it comes to choosing ministers, there is no vetting system which the opposition or the parliament can come and say, no, 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 we don't want this. This guy is not fit. We should have a way of vetting and a way of confirmation of ministers. You can't just pick your friend and put them where where you think at least I fitted him here. It's now even a problem even in opposition. People want to fit each other where they don't fit, and it becomes a disaster.
Thank you, the Pinio. The issue of trying to create a one-party state is not a good idea. As you are saying, I can see that this is now 1858. I think there's going to be the other citizen space, which is starting in 30 minutes. So our discussion can go on for another 30 minutes. Then we encourage everyone who is here to transfer to the other space, which will be hosted by Citizens Action for Change. That's where we'll be going as well. So, so that you know, we are left with about 30 minutes. So, if you would like to request a mic, go ahead and request. I'm going to ask the panel who are right here a very difficult question, but an important question for us as hosts of for these Twitter spaces. There has been a debate that has been going on in these Twitter streets, where our friends from the other side they made claims that as CCC, if we are going to have discussions where only CCC are going to speak, we are going to be speaking in an echo chamber. That's the word that one of them used, in an echo chamber, where we only speak what we agree with. And then there has been another side which has been saying, no, ZANU-PF has got, what do you call it? ZANU-PF has the ZBC. And if we give them a chance to speak in our spaces, they are here, they have an agenda. And once they speak, they are distracting the progressive ideas that are being made. So my question to the people who are here, including some of the guys who claimed that I think it was during yesterday's space where anyone who requested the mic was from ZANU-PF and is known, was automatically removed out of the space completely. So there has been an outcry that, you know, you can't speak to an echo chamber. We are also Zimbabweans. We want to contribute to these discussions, but others are saying the contributions of the ZANU-PF guys are destructive. So us as the people who are here, what's our sentiment about that? Should we let our friends from the other side freely speak and spread their propaganda, or should we eject them the moment we see them? Can we answer that question? It is important to have an honest discussion around that topic. Go ahead, Noah. In fact, let's start with Peter, then we go to Noah.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. I think let me respond to what you have said. I believe, I think we need to be honest with ourselves. Indeed, as you highlighted, an echo chamber will not work for us. We need to know what the other side is thinking. But also, what is key and important for us is vanhu vanouya especially pamaspaces edu, let's not have those who pretend to be neutrals and speaking like they are neutrals. Ah, no, those ones, they are a problem. But as if, for example, munhu akaita satafadzwa mugwadi, suppose he comes to our space, handina problem if you allow tafadzwa mugwadi speaking, but nekuti we know exactly what he is standing for, and maybe what we can discuss in this space is, mukaenda maspaces avo, see how they control the situation and the tempo and the narrative that will be pushing. So those are tichizokumbira kuti mahost, you must do this for us now, kuti tine vanhu iva, especially those that we know that has an EPF, we need to control the narrative. We need to not let them go on free rebel and distract the whole conversation, but guide them through whatever we are discussing. And then on the issue here, announce ichipindurwa, I think properly, maybe it's because the host munenge mazoita, I think mazoenda mazonyanya matozotiuraya maribs nekuseka. You talk of Chinamasa being a finance minister in a new CC government. But I think your question, maybe, yeah, for it to have been answered properly, I think maybe you could have said, maybe somebody like, maybe tomboti kana kuti Walter Mzempi, or maybe tomboti kana kuti maybe this guy who was fired recently, angari kuzesa uya uya, are included in government. How do we feel, and what do we see about that? Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, the host and everyone who is here. Thank you for this opportunity you've given me. I would like to start where you asked whether we are going to destroy ZANU-PF when we win. I would like to answer it in this way. We can't remove ZANU-PF and behave the way it used to behave, or behave the way we didn't want, or the way or behaving the reason why we removed it. That would be actually very wrong. We are just coming to undo what ZANU-PF has done. We would treat ZANU-PF as a very good opposition. We are not here to revenge. We are just coming to change the livelihood of our people. ZANU-PF will enjoy being in opposition, and the fact that, and the reason why they want to remain in power is because they are afraid, because they have done a lot to the opposition. So they feel that if the same opposition wins and wants to revenge, will be in trouble. We are not after that. I want to come to the question you asked about Patrick Damasa. I would prefer a meritocracy government. You are appointed because you are able to do this. We don't want to be in a situation where you have been, you know that we have won an election fraudulently, like what ZANU-PF always do. So when you steal an election, you have got a lot to pay back to the people who would have played a role in stealing. It is more like an armed robbery. Someone was giving direction, someone was giving guns, someone was giving bullets, someone was just up there just to give a signal. So all those people need to be paid equally. This is why ZANU-PF is always appointing or rewarding people, not because they are capable of doing their job, but because they are being rewarded for a particular task they would have done. You can recall after coup that we had the Sibusiso Moyos into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We had the this late parents as Minister of Agriculture, and all those posts were occupied because people were being rewarded for what they had done. I want to come again to the question of involving ZANU PF people in our spaces. Uh, I would believe that it is good to have them and to hear their stories, but it also depends on the topic at hand. If we are discussing things that are in a house that do not require some distraction, I don't think there is a reason now to have them inside, because obviously they will divert our attention. So if it is just a general discussion where we want to hear from them, why we want to hear why they do some of the things they do, yes, we will have them and we will be able to argue against them. But if it is an out in-house issue, let us finish our things without their distraction. Because the moment you are here, we are talking of by-elections, and someone comes to say sanctions, sanctions, sanctions. Already, our topic has been diverted. We'll start talking about sanctions, and we'll go to the sanctions. From sanctions, we'll go to something else, uh, leaving our topic. So, for us to concentrate, for us to remain in rail, we need to have our own people and welcome those other guys when we have some other topics that require them. Thank you. That's all what I have for now.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much.
Eh,
I want to agree with you, Peter. Um, we are very tolerant. We cannot be violent because the next person to you is violent. I think that we as Triple C needs to show tolerance. We need to show that we are different, and we need to be in a position to deal with anyone who comes to us in a humane way. I say in a humane way because we are human beings, in a respectful way. If somebody comes to our spaces and be disrespectful, we have every reason to drop them. If they come to our space and they're respectful, yes, we would want to hear their view. We would want to hear their views. So I think if you have noticed our spaces, we make sure that they're properly controlled, and whoever comes to our spaces, they know that you know we are not here to fight against anyone. We are here to seek and find solution. We are here to share our views. We are here when we are fundraising. We are here to fundraise. People knows that. So I think that if we maintain things that way, people would know that, wow, when I go to Triple C, they don't want to fight with anyone. They want to listen. If somebody wants to say something that's constructive, and that's what we are. So that's already a difference that we need to show. We need to uh, deal with people with facts. We don't want to deal with somebody because they are either violent or they are raising their voice, they want to fight, then we do the same. No, we need to calm down, and we need to share. We need to be very factual, and that way even our children would be able to come to our spaces and also listen and learn. We don't want a space where a child goes, they'll be like, oh my God, I'll never go to that space again. What were you talking about? We don't want that. So I think it's about setting a narrative and a position that this is our position, and whenever we are doing whatever we are doing, we are respectful, so we need to be respected as well. It's like here we are discussing the issue of voter registration. I know my host has thrown in this joke of putting Chinamasa on the on the cabinet of the Triple C. Of course, he wanted to hear people's views. Um,
Over to you, host.
Yes, yes. No, definitely. Our views are all important. And like you're saying, the issue of for the decorum that we bring to our spaces is very important. And also, depending on the topic of the day, it's like when we have a topic like the future of the Triple C movement, definitely we expect to hear more views from the Triple C people. But if we have got an open topic like the role of the international community, definitely we expect to hear from everyone. When we have by-elections, for example, we expect to hear from everyone because everyone is participating in by-elections. Voter registration, every Zimbabwean needs to register to vote, despite the fact of the whether they are going to vote for Triple C or ZANU PF or any other party. They have to register to vote. That's why I don't understand sometimes why the other party is not pushing for people to register to vote, and it seems as if there's a lot of voter suppression through preventing people from registering to vote. However, we have one of the guys, Padare, who is also known for his views in support of ZANU PF. So for Padare, we are going to ask you a direct question. Padare, um do you think, since you have ZBC and your own spaces, do you think we should give you a platform to speak when our people, or when we think you are going to be disruptive? Should we give you a chance to speak, or should we eject you? Because definitely, as you know, that we know all of you. If we want no one to speak, then definitely we are not going to allow the people to speak. So, Padare, what's your take? How do you think we are supposed to go ahead to do this? If I come to your space, should you eject me directly before I even say anything? Go ahead, Padare.
I don't think, you know what, if you're not good in the day, or you cannot be good at night, it's just the same thing. You can close yourself in a pot and think that you are good. You will still remain as bad as you were in the daylight. So what am I trying to say? If you are going to be an effective, because if you say to yourself you are this person that is going to be so brilliant, and you want to build, and you want to be inclusive, whether ZANU PF doesn't give you that chance and behaves in a certain way, you are supposed to show that difference in actually building, and actually bringing people together. If you say to yourself today, SANU PF has not been inclusive in the narrative, and bringing people together, you should be showing a total behavior to that of what the SANU PF is supposed to be. That is the normal way of life. But the abnormal way would be, okay, we want to change Zimbabwe. If you say you want to change Zimbabwe because you are the best for Zimbabwe, then you become so uh, aggressive with it. And perhaps, when I'm going to truly believe in this product of yours is when I see you talking to the other side, MDCA, not ZANU PF. ZANU PF is there, it's doing its things, it's running, it's already doing what it's supposed to do, and it's going to be judged by that. The issue of ZBC and bringing it to the social media platforms where we are here, we are talking as citizens. No one is, no, we are not ZBC. We don't work for ZBC. Nobody does work for ZBC. So, the beauty of these platforms is anyone, one of us, can create a room and go and talk there. That is the beauty of it. So if you want to capture the best of the best and change people's minds, then you should be able to be having a conversation, even as difficult as it is and hard decisions as it is. If you cannot hold a difficult conversation, can you imagine when you are trying to be involved in a war situation with your country, or you are confronted with a very difficult situation where people are actually suffering in your country? How are you going to be able to tell your people that, you know what, maybe what we thought and what we're campaigning about is not true? So you have to be able to hold difficult conversation even with those that you see difference in. This topic, why I came to this topic, and I think you should see it from now. If you bring a topic that is inclusive, I will enter. If you choose to remove me because you don't want to see me there and don't want my voice there, fair enough. That is your choice. But if you write there CCC mission this and that, then I know it's a deliberate CCC thing. I am not going to go there and be disruptive in the manner that I wouldn't, because I'll be upset and crazy and lose my credibility in my conduct when it comes to that. I don't have to do that. But if you're looking for a dialogue with people, if you're looking for a conversation with especially when you call yourself citizens, if you call, this is where perhaps maybe you see what Ngoma Washington, I've got, I hold Ngoma Washington to most regard, and I truly do. You see what Professor Johnson and the big debate that is going on now is the identity of CCC, because the doctrine at which it is formed, you've got Professor Johnson saying, no, it's an inclusive thing, it's an inclusive group. Hope we're saying, oh, it is an inclusive. The others are saying, no, no, it's a political party. So there's that narrative of confusion because of this. But it is up to you then, you guys, who are the voice of that, and you should not be apologetic about it. If your mission, is to include people and the voice of the citizens, be that citizenry, because you cannot be saying because ZANU PF did this to you, Zimbabwe ZBC did. These are institutions where people pay money to participate in the way they do. Every country has got something, but we've got ZTN. ZTN is part and part of the group of the this media groups. We see people there. We see people there. But if you truly say to yourself you don't want to listen to ZBC, for anyone who doesn't listen to ZBC right now, and they say they're in politics, then you do not know what is going inside your country. Your mission is to deliberately listen to it so that you understand on where to build from and what not to build from. It sounds as funny as it sounds. As funny as it sounds. Let me tell you something, Mukoma CCC, Mukoma CC Diaspora. An institution or a people who do not know how to live with their enemy will never be able to change their enemy or rule their enemy, because you underestimate their capability and ability. And that is the biggest mistake when you exclude people from your narrative. That is the biggest mistake you do, because then you do not know how to hold a dialogue. You do not know how to hold a conversation. These spaces you're creating for people here are exemplary places where people, the next generation, can actually then go and say, we spoke together, we know each other, there is difference in thinking, but we can have a dialogue. So by the time most of you who wish to be going into that parliament, both sides, ZANU PF, MDC, so many other political parties that are coming in, you are the next generation of leaders. So if you cannot hold a conversation now, where are you going to hold that conversation? So your inability to hold a conversation, if you cannot do it here, even in your anger, then it means you will not be the right person to go into the new parliament of Zimbabwe. And that is the way it's going to be. I think, and if you are as cunning as that and actually start these places and analysis and check fact and say to yourself, this is a flawed individual. Their intent is not there for the citizen, but from a selfish narrative. Then that is how you actually hold leaders to account. You see, this is my last point. My biggest issue is a radio station that kicked me out the other day. I didn't even complain. I was actually saying, "Wow, that is what they like." It's a propaganda thing. So it shows me that it's just a propaganda thing. So I'm not going to be bothered about it because I don't believe in that. But what worries me most is when then the youth celebrate that as an achievement to say we have kicked them out. How are you going to know, Padari? I've been the biggest critic of Shamisa. Instead of putting me to questioning me why I think, and so you can understand, so you can you can build a better position of what you need to be. It's not a competition being here at all. Listen, I don't know what people tell about social media. It has been sold to our people in a very wrong way. But in the institutions we have worked, it is used for recruiting the best of the best, selling products. It is, it's used for so many things. So you got to ask yourself, the CCC, and say, what is your intent? Because if you say you are recruiting from these places, then you're actually failing yourself and thinking that you're actually doing so. People can get content. This is a recording, isn't it? I can open so many ghost accounts and enter where I want to get to. So you can't control me. You see, you can't control me. And for Zimbabwe, God, for the people that think Zimbabwe can control, no, Zimbabwe is actually the government of Zimbabwe actually does not even want to stop people because it could be limiting, internet and so forth for people to engage in these narratives. So it could do that for if it thinks that these spaces have got like what Nigeria did. That is, so you could stop a voice coming from Zimbabwe to hear. So we have to think differently, behave differently, fight differently in order to build a stronger Zimbabwe, because we are here together. This statement I've said has got nothing to do with ZANU-PF, but it is everything to do with you and I as people who are supposed to be talking and actually having a conversation and a competition of ideas. It's a competition of ideas. If you take elections as if you're at war, then that is your problem. But if some of us we take elections as competition of ideas, it is a shame when people like when they come to this, when people, most of us don't come and have a conversation. We want to come, especially when leaders come here. We always want to question the leader who comes to your space, to question his integrity, to question his intent, to question his ability to hold a conversation or to build. So as we hold, if I hold a Padare, with the Chimerenga guys, and we invite a leader there, we want you guys to come there so that you can question the leaders that come there and say, what is you? Who are you? Mr. Nduna, Honorable Nduna, there was a lie that was spread throughout the media. But he came out and he spoke about it, and we held him to account. So that is how we can crush useless propaganda that is not productive for your own country. Because
Yeah,
anything that you put on media, if it's negative, remember, you are not my enemy. My enemy is the one that have created these platforms so they can capture and use our voices against each other in order for Africa to remain and Zimbabwe to remain where it is, not to develop. And
yeah,
that is what you need to be thinking about. Many thanks for giving me the
yeah.
opportunity.
Okay.
I'm just going to go down and listen to others as they contribute.
Yes, yes, Padare. Thank you for that. As you have seen, we will bring you and bring anyone who requests the mic here so that they can talk for themselves and so that, we can have this discussion, hard as it may be. We want, as citizens, as Zimbabweans, we want to know exactly where we are going and exactly what some of these decisions we make are going to yield something like that. So we hear you, Padare, very much that you want to be involved in the conversation, and first you look at the topic. Then from the topic, you can decide whether to join or not to join. When you come, you want to interact with the leadership and get some clarifications. And hopefully one day, if you understand our side of things, even join us. Go vote for us, something like that. It's a very good thing. Thank you, Padare,
Yeah, yeah. In
for
that
that.
in that question of voting for us, let me tell you this: what the new Zimbabwe age should be thinking.
In 1 minute.
In 1 minute, Zimbabwe holds harmonized elections, which you vote a president, an MP, and a councillor. If the next generation is taught to say, if you have a competent leader who has been presented as a counselor with MDC, and this is my wish and my hope, besides my love for Zimbabwe, ZANU, the president of no, this is my wish for Zimbabwe, that we will get the youth to the future generations of tomorrow to say they have three choices to choose from. If they put in their local area the best brains ever to go into parliament, whether they come from Mavambo, they come from MDCA, they come from CCC, they come from, if they are the best out of them, it means development has not is going to go on and the best voice has been shut. So you can have a president from ZAN, an MP from CCC, and a councillor from MDC. That would be the ultimate understanding of harmonized elections, and that is the ultimate goal. Perhaps maybe we might see, for those that seek the greatest and the best of Zimbabwe to see, because people belong to different places, and there are bad people in ZANU, there are bad people in MDC, there are bad people in CCC, there are brilliant people in ZANU, there are brilliant people in CCC, and there are brilliant people in APA and so forth. So when we create that understanding that sometimes we have people who are not supposed to be the riders of this ship, then you get to that position. But that is my wish for the greater good, my wish for the future generations to understand politics to that level. Many thanks.
All right. Thank you, Padare, for that. From there, we are going to Ruka Chivende. Ruka Chivende, go ahead. Ruka Chivende. It looks like Ruka can't speak. Caveman, can you go ahead? Ruka is up. Caveman, wait. Go ahead, Ruka.
Thank you. I think Padare has spoken a lot of stuff, but something that he said there is pretty obvious, because that's precisely what the CCC is pushing for, where elections are held in a fair and credible manner, and whoever wins carries the day. So this is that is talking about a president being from ZANU-PF, an MP from CCC, and a councillor from MDCA. That's exactly how it should be. Let the platform be open such that people choose the best candidate they feel like, instead of being coerced, being threatened. Because as you can tell from these upcoming by-elections, there's already violence where some people are not being allowed to campaign. There's police all over disturbing the CC rallies. I haven't heard people like Padare making a comment around such issues, such despicable behavior in the 21st century. Because as he rightly said, we need to have a situation where there's harmony between the citizens and we actually work towards a common Zimbabwe that is good for everybody. But that kind of sense does not come from the ZANU-PF stakeholders. He spoke about ZBC monopoly, where he said people like him should be given a voice on these platforms. But we don't see such people advocating for the same on the public platform. Platforms that are paid by the general public should be accessible by all parties. But we know what happened when the CC party was formed, where there was no mention of that party on ZBC. They've been whatever they say about the party is always negative. We've never heard any of these guys like the Padares commenting about such a misnomer in the 21st century. So I think if he could practice what he preaches when it comes to these platforms on the ZANU-PF platform as well, because ultimately would like to have a situation where leaders, in fact governments, are of the people, by the people, for the people. The current government that we have is not fit for purpose. That government is just serving a few elites, the likes of Tagwirei. And how are the general populace going to survive? I don't know if you guys have seen some videos that Wopo posted. I think it was on Sunday, where he was driving around Harare. And the rate at which the country is now a pothole, is now a pothole state. Almost every road has got potholes. But guys like Padare and the other ones, the ZANU-PF colleagues, they tend to ignore all such facts and focus on mediocrity. So I think it's high time they also look beyond just mediocrity and do what's good for the country. Because as long as we've got people who are so self-centered, who might be benefiting from the system and don't care about the general populace, we are going to have this situation. So let everybody be campaigning for a free and fair elections. Let everybody be pushing for people to register to vote, because I don't understand why one party should not be pushing for people to register to vote, especially if it is in power, if it has done something that is there for the people to see the development aspirations. We talk about this vision 2030, but if you look at where we are compared to 2018, we have regressed deeply. And surely that can be the future that we're looking for. There's not going to be any future if the country is only going backwards into the 60s. Having boreholes in the cities cannot be normal. Having potholes in all our roads cannot be normal. Having people congregating at bus terminuses for 4 hours to catch buses to their destinations cannot be normal. So such kind of things should be the foundation of our engagements, rather than being fixated on a political party that has been tried, tested, and failed. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Ruka. You brought in very important questions there, which I think I see Vashona is here. He is one of the people that complained, or rather, let me not say complained, who mentioned that he was kicked out of yesterday's Twitter space. So definitely he's going to comment on that. But we also want to ask him some simple questions, or some questions. Bashona, we give you a platform to speak. As you can see, you are here and you can contribute. Yet, let's say our people don't get to have a voice, or don't have freedom of assembly. From where you stand, from your standpoint, what's your comment when you see people like Passion Java? They are allowed to host events. You see ZANU-PF, when it wants to do by-elections, they are allowed to host events. But the moment CCC or CCC tries to hold an event, you see police is sent there, riot is there, and everything. Can you comment on that? What's your take, and what's your take on the issue of being kicked out from spaces? Go ahead, Bashon.
Thank you, my brother. Wow, this is a good thing that I'm now talking to your platforms. First, to respond to your question, yesterday, let me say this to everyone so that they can understand. I'm a ZANU-PF supporter, and I'm a ZANU-PF member. But I'm not going to respond issues that concern ZANU-PF, because I'm not spokesperson of ZANU-PF, but I'm a member of ZANU-PF. I'm proudly so. So answering your question, my brother, on the kicked out. Yes, I requested for the mic yesterday. I don't know who gave me the mic, but within a second I was kicked out. But I believe that issue that you guys were discussing yesterday, it was the issue doesn't concern CC. It was an issue doesn't concern Mavambo. It was the issue that concerned all Zimbabweans, both diaspora and both in Zimbabwe. So I felt that I could add my voice on the issue which was on the table yesterday, but unfortunately, it didn't see the light. But coming to the issue of gatherings, coming to the issue of why maybe your political party or other political parties are not allowed to gather, and then, or they are not given the opportunity. For me, with the way I know the laws of Zimbabwe, with the way I understand the laws of Zimbabwe, I've got like yesterday, Wende, who is your Secretary General, he went to I think it was in Glenora police station. He was given what do you call this? An authority, sort of, by the police to conduct his activities there. And I believe there are some people from within your circles who just do things just to find, or to attract attention for things that they know. Some of them, they are former member of parliament who created these laws that if someone wants to have a gathering, must seek the police clearance, and then they can conduct their business. I can tell you for a fact, I never saw when they're having challenges in Kwadzana, in Glenora. I'm in Harare. I'm in Harare, And for a fact, your senior members, especially in Harare, I never saw any incident. If there's any incident that I didn't come across with, I would want to, to comment on that. But on what I saw, Wende is doing things like not even your vice president are doing. He's on the ground doing everything he can as a politician and as a leader of your political party. So that would be my answer to your question, to say that there are some people within your circles who don't want to be who don't want to be citizens who can follow rule of law, and at the end of the day they'll come and cry foul. I don't think it's fair even for the government that you maybe probably one day you will come and lead, or those police officers that you will come and lead when you get into power, if it happens to if it happens so. So I think it's very fair if we say, okay, fine, I'm holding a police clearance which I was awarded by the maybe dispo or officer in charge.
Yes. So we hear you. There are actually instances that are there, but since you haven't come across them, then there wouldn't be no point to debate on an incident that you don't know about or that you didn't see. So we'll go to CCC NAP. Can you go ahead?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate the comments by our ZANU PF colleagues or sympathizers. Listen, we all know that we are not being treated equal in Zimbabwe. So this question about they don't have police clearance, it's nonsense, okay? So if we are being sincere, let's talk about the issues. It's not working. You can't just be, it can't be just triple C, which is violating the law. And always doing everything right or Monzora. We know that. So let's not waste our time talking about those things. Let's talk about things that are gonna build our country. And we need police reform, we need military reform. Everything is not working, unfortunately, for the ordinary citizen, but our brothers on the other side, maybe they get paid to do what they do. But you should understand that that is tired logic where we keep saying, oh, they must have done something wrong. We're very good at explaining why we are failing in Zimbabwe. And we're also very good at explaining why we oppress our own people. That's a shame. What we should be talking about is what should we be doing to make our country better, okay? So we need police reform. We need military reform so that the police, the military, the CIOs and everybody, they work for the citizens, okay? The citizens are the ones who pay taxes. But somehow we have gotten to a place where the few elitists in government think that it is their right to do whatever they want with the people of Zimbabwe. And a lot of us, we get very emotional when people keep bringing up these issues. The reality of it is that we are not being treated equally in our country. And that is a shame. And we need to change course. So my brothers, when you come in, my sisters, when you come in from ZANU-PF, you have this platform where you feel you are entitled to air your views. And you all know very well that we don't get coverage for our, sending views in ZBC and so forth. We know that. That's a reality. But you come here and you say, well, I'm entitled to speak in a triple C platform because I'm a Zimbabwean. They are talking issues Zimbabwean. And we should be doing that for public platforms that we, the taxpayers of Zimbabwe, pay for. That is the bottom line. And I hope my brothers and sisters come with that attitude, not an attitude where you try to explain our affair. My brother who just spoke, he says, well, I'm not a spokesperson for ZANU-PF, but he is going on to justify things that should not be justifiable in any other country. And that is where we are failing as a people. We need to move past that and talk about this needs to change. I don't have the power to change it, but I hope those who have the power, they change it. Those in government do the right things for the people. That's better discussion than to say, they must have done something wrong. That's why they're being abused. Well, that's why there's a law. Do it properly. But anywho, I hope you guys get the sense of where we're going, even for elections, the same thing. Are you gonna get elected so that you can deliver for the people, or this a reward so that you can keep looting? And that's what's wrong with our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CCNAP there. The issue for someone stops becoming a spokesperson for ZANU PF the moment it doesn't suit them, but when they come to spread the sanctions mantra and all the other stuff, they speak very strongly on behalf of the ZANU PF. So it also becomes worrying when we keep shifting positions when it suits us. So I understand what you passionately feel about CCC and NAP. Let's go to Capeman, then Nicolette.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't have much to say anyway. I just want to say I think the guy is gone, the guy called Padare. I just want to tell him that he's not the only military brains that works in Zimbabwe. I know he's with the British and has been in to some excursions in Afghanistan and somewhere else. So he's not only the military brains in Zimbabwe. He's not the one who is most intelligent anyway. Just because he stays in UK and he enjoys the British hospitality, he mustn't come here on the CC platforms and urinate his ZANU PF things. Um, when we go to these ZANU PF meetings, when we attend them, it's always about destroying CC party, and it's about destroying Zimbabwe for the benefit of Zimbabwe of ZANU PF. They are beneficiaries of ZANU PF. Those guys, they don't go in the same processes that we go for, say, IDs, for driver's licenses, for everything. They just produce the ZANU PF card and they are privileged to go anywhere in the world. They just put an ED sticker and they can do anything else in Zimbabwe. But we can't put NC sticker or a CC candidate sticker and walk through the police. So when these guys coming in, they must understand that they're not the only brains in Zimbabwe. Just because they have the power of the gun and the police, it doesn't make them invincible. So you also, when these people coming in, don't allow them to speak. For us, that's democracy. If I come to your platform and they are giving them platform, that's not democracy because they don't allow that democracy to go to other people. These people they benefit more from ZANU PF. So they come here because they know you are recording these conversations. Then they'll go back and laugh. I was there at the CC. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? That's what they do at the end of the day. There's no democracy in Zimbabwe when it comes to ZANU PF. There's nothing called democracy. All these people, the Professor Feresus, and they are living in different countries. They are beneficiaries of ZANU PF. But we live in Zimbabwe, and we survive every day in Zimbabwe. They don't want any opposition because they just hide behind the police and the army. So when this Padari comes in, please just kick them out. I'll be very happy if you can do that for me. Kick them out because they just come here to urinate on us. Thank you.
Hey, passionate delivery there from Caveman, saying that Padare should be kicked out. His year and his end has actually been raised. So whilst I'm deciding whether to kick Padare out or to make him speak before he's kicked out, I'll go to Nicolette.
Thank you very much, host, for the opportunity to speak. This is a very interesting conversation, and I just want to touch on a few things that the ZANU PF guys have been saying. You know, I'm all for exchanging ideas, but the exchange of ideas should never be one-sided. And we find that the ZANU PF guys, they go to the different platforms, they want their voices to be heard. But those same opportunities are not being extended to people from other political parties. And I think Padare was saying earlier that, this is only about the exchange of ideas, but I think we've gone beyond that. ZANU PF has been in power for 41 years. Uh, Look at the health system. People are dying. I have a relative who died as a result of, the bad healthcare system. We look at the schools. Uh, children are not going to school, the teachers are not being paid an adequate wage. We are at war. And we're not in the kind of war where we're lifting up arms, but we're at war because our people are dying, our people are suffering. And the thing is, the thing I have a problem with is we've got quite a lot of brilliant young minds in ZANU PF where they could be effecting change from within ZANU PF. They're not doing that. They want to, bring policies to other people who are outside of ZANU PF. Why don't they start within ZANU PF? We all know that there are issues at the moment with regards to the leadership. Everything that we know of in the country is falling apart at the moment. Why are they not applying those ideas, within the ZANU PF party, taking the leadership to task over over the degradation of things in Zimbabwe. So why can't they start there? That is my question to all those young brilliant minds who are supporting ZANU PF. This is about citizens, and I agree it's about citizens, but we need to be able to look at ourselves first. We say we stand with a particular party, but we don't hold them to account when things are going wrong. So what does that say about us and our beliefs, in what is happening in the policies that those parties are pushing forward? So let us start from where we are. And I challenge all those young people in ZANU PF. Right now, the teachers are not being paid an adequate wage. Why don't you use your brilliant minds to raise your voices and speak out, for that cause? We know how much they're being paid. So why can't we advocate for things like that? Speak to our leadership. We've got a lot of you guys have got the ears of your leadership. Why don't you start there? There are so many issues that you could be advocating for, but you're not doing that. That's the issue that I have sometimes with the young minds who are supporting ZANU PF. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you are saying that Padare is one of the guys who claimed that he is very brilliant. You are saying that he should go and give his ideas to ZANU PF and probably his president instead of bringing his ideas here, because here his ideas are not going to be very useful, but he should go and give them to ZANU PF. That's Nicolette right there. We'll go to Big Nine Lives. Big Nine Lives. What's your take on the issue at hand?
Sorry. No, I was because I was listening and I thought people are talking about by-elections, and I wanted to ask why the Chegutu West, where Dexter Ndona is still sitting as a member of parliament, yet he lost. Why has that not been declared another sort of like place where another constituency where the by-elections should have taken place? Because clearly Nduna knows that he shouldn't be in that position, and yet he's just sitting there like a dummy, pretending like
Mr. Duna is here. Honorable Duna is here. You can actually give him the mic, and I'm sure he will receive the mic. Honorable, then he can answer that question for you, so that you can speak to him, and then he can tell you what happened.
Can we speak through the host, please?
Padare, await your turn, and Honorable Nduna, if you are there, you can answer for yourself. There is a question directed to you. Right, is here. Go ahead, Big Nine Lives. If you are done, then we'll get a response from Honorable Nduna as requested the mic.
Yes, I am done. I will be waiting for his response.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Whilst we are waiting for Honorable Nduna to join, I will give time to co-host Washington to go ahead and speak. He wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I was basically going to try and get our conversation back to voters registration. I know there are issues that are being spoken about, which I think were spoken earlier, and they are kind of like moving our conversation to a different conversation. Hence, I wanted to come in before Big Nine Live speak, just to sort of like say, let's try and steer our conversation back to voter registration. So I think the issue of the Chegutu has been
Yes, I
spoken
speak
about,
now.
and let me just finish. I just feel it's a bit unfair to ask the person who's in that position to speak. But anyway, he's here. We can hear his view in that regard.
You can go ahead and speak since you have been mentioned directly and you came to try and set your record straight. Go ahead. Honorable Nduna, can you go ahead? It seems like he can't speak, but we would have wanted to hear his version of the story. He's muted, and we didn't remove him in case people think that we are doing something to mute him. No, we'll keep him a bit. Go ahead, Honorable Nduna. Yes, go ahead. We can see your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Unfortunately, I can't hear Honorable Nduna, but I think he's here. When he's able to speak, we'll give him a chance. And our topic for the day is by-elections and voter registration. But there was an issue where people felt like they are not being given chances to speak as well, and a lot of complaints were flying all over. So we just wanted to make sure that when our friends from the other side come and we kick them out or we remove them, it is mainly to do with the way they will have conducted themselves or they conduct themselves, like coming to the space, and then if one of our guests makes a comment and then they go and they start bullying the person in the inbox, and also if you go on the timeline, they are busy casing the CCC and everything like that on their timeline, going into some unnecessary attacks, which doesn't show them as people who really want a conversation. So in that case, if you are kicked out, you should understand it is mainly from that behavior. So yeah, that's what I can say. Whilst we are okay, Honorable Nduna, can you speak now? Honorable Nduna, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want me to speak in Shona? Do you want me to speak in English? I will say this once and I will not repeat it again. So which
English.
language do you choose?
English, English, English.
Thank you. I am the legitimate member of parliament for Chegutu West constituency since 2013. I annihilated the opposition or the other protagonists in 2018. And there's two people that won the election twice. In 2018, it is His Excellency the President, Comrade Idim Nangagwa, and myself. Meaning, I need to say this, meaning that we won on the ground, then we went to court and won again. So it's twice. There was an opportunity in the parliamentary elections for one Konjani to actually ask for the residual material or the ballot box to be opened if he had any challenges, which he could have done within 48 hours
ignorance of the law is no defense. The reason why he took me to court is because of the Electoral Act, which says if you have any grievance, you take the winning candidate to court, not the other protagonist. It is not me that he had a challenge with. We had the V11s within the ballot box, we had a V23, and we had a V25. In all those materials, there was signatures. For the V11s, there were polling agents that were there, the polling officers that were there. For the V23, the same. And for the V25, ultimately, which is signed before somebody is proclaimed and announced as the winner, there were signatures all over. And in no, there was no signature of mine, but of our officers. And there was one particular polling station. It is called the primary school in phase 4 of Kaguvi phase 4 to West constituency. It's a township somewhere in the location where one person called Kache and there was one person called Konjani. So Konjani, after being hands down with about 250 votes, saw an opportunity to get votes from Kache, who had near similar name with him. And he had a nightmare in 3 dimensions. I think he had dreamt that he had won election somehow. And he could not believe it when he was beaten hands down and annihilated completely by me. And then he saw a name that was close to him. There was Makoni, there were other names, but he saw a name that was close to him, and he saw votes that if they were attributed to him, he would then get to be above me by a certain number of votes. This issue that ZEC officials agreed that the men had more votes than me, it cannot be any further the truth than that. You people that are on spaces, you obviously have an aptitude or a credibility of some sort which speaks to and about some education aptitude. So if you are going to believe line, hook, and sinker what this man called Konjane is trying to give to you as a poisoned chalice, you make me wonder if your credentials are what they seem to be or what they are or they are said to be. There is nothing that was deposed in the courts of law or anywhere else by ZEC officials to confirm that Konjani has won an election. When you have any challenges, you go through the process that we went through the courts, and he did exactly that. And the courts have that you were beaten and you have no course, and the courts are open for 6 months. This is an electoral act that we actually put in place. The other legislators, you, the electorate, and the people in Zimbabwe through in parliament. And it was assented into law by His Excellency. So it became rule, it became a statute, and we agreed, all of us agreed to it. The only unbecoming of that election was that there were names that were close to each other. But I will now go on to tell you that one Kache also deposed an affidavit in the High Court, in the Electoral Court, to say he wanted to be a joinder because he cannot be spoken about without giving a response, even if he lost an election. So he had an affidavit that if that court or the merits of that issue had seen the light of day in the court, he would still have lost through the witnessing of Mr. Kache. That Konjani guy would still have lost. I don't know why you still want him anyway, because you are now a different opposition than the Konjani person. But because you can write a thesis and you can write a book about what happened in Chegutu in 2018, it is not me that was supposed to be taken to court. I had no reason to be taken to court, but I took time to actually respect the law and go to the courts of law. I'm also a creature of the Constitution and a creature of the law, even though I've got three roles in one. One amongst them is lawmaking. I had to be a servant of as well. But the problem
Unfortunately, it seems like we've lost Honorable Nduna. I had another question for him. I wanted to ask if him and his party are encouraging people to register to vote. Unfortunately, he's not there to answer that question. I can see that there are a number of hands that are up. Big Nine Lives, you have asked. So let me add him so that maybe he can answer us. He had been explaining whilst he's coming. Big Nine Lives in 30 seconds. Say something. Then we'll drop you because the platform is full and we want to move the discussion to the discussion of the day, which is by-elections and voter registration. So can you finish up in 1 to 2 minutes, Honorable Nduna? Also answer us if your party ZANU-PF is encouraging people to register to vote, because the general sentiment is ZANU-PF maybe is not very visible when it comes to encouraging people to register to vote. So go ahead and finish up, then try to help us answer this question, Honorable Nduna. Go ahead. Honorable Nduna, you can unmute and finish up.
I think he's having challenges there.
Okay, nice. Big Nine Lives, 1 minute, then we also remove you.
Yeah, zvigunwe zvinorema pakuunmute apa kana muchireva nhema, because I wanted to ask him kuti what were the numbers that he says he won, because the honest truth is the other MDCA candidates' numbers went higher when there was a recount, and there were some votes were noticed that they had been given to another person. Whether that was deliberate or not, we can't speculate. But the MDC guy had won, and ZEC actually declared him a winner, but they didn't take Dexter Nduna off the seat. So whatever he's telling us now, rest assured, he's lying anyway.
Okay, I will finish that topic at that, the issue of Dexter Nduna and the Chegutu. Let's leave it at that, and let's go to the topic of the day. Other facts on by-elections. The question was like, why is Honorable Nduna's constituents not part of the by-elections? So it was relevant to the topic, but however, let's leave it at that. From there, we are going to Mundau. Can you go ahead, Mundau?
Hapana zvandachida kubvunza ndangoda hangu honorable Nduna kuti ndovabvunza kuti vakavhoterwa nani, ndo zvandandoda ngobvunza beki, saka endererai mberi ndidzikisei zvangu.
Okay, that's fine. I think Honorable Nduna heard the question. I don't know if he's going to reply you. Kuti vakavhoterwa nani, but definitely he was claiming or saying that he has got some V11s, V23, and V25. So I think among those Vs, there are people who were voting for him. But he is there. He might be able to reply at some later point. Let's go to the issue of by-elections. Can we go to Leader Barbara? Can you go ahead and speak?
Thank you so much, host. You know, ndangandiri kutotsva panapa. I was bending. You know, why do we allow people to divert us? I don't think even that the chap had asked a question relating to Nduna. He was not supposed to answer us because we know what happened. And we don't want him to come back. Zviko. He must not come back. This is our space. Hatizokupedzerwa nguva isusu. Why don't they go to their spaces? What do we want? What do they want here? What do we want from them? We don't want anything from these people. And after this, they're going to write their rubbish. Look at what they wrote yesterday. They, after giving them the space, they're going to say whatever they want. We don't want them here. Shiko, if you bring them back, I'll cause havoc here. Mark my words. We don't want them here. Those people from ZANU-PF, we don't want them. Isusu pamwe tiri kurwadziwa panapa nevanhu zvinoitwa na, they keep quiet when on things that matters most. They keep quiet. They pretend as if they are not there. People are being harassed. People are being abused. The diaspora vote that they wanted to talk about yesterday, which diaspora vote? We've never heard them speaking about the diaspora vote. They don't want it, the diaspora vote, because they know they don't have people in the diaspora. There are only a few people that support ZANU-PF in the diaspora. So what do they want to do? Why not? Why can't they do their campaign on the diaspora vote so that we see they are serious? Why do they want to come to our spaces? And going to the question, to the topic, Rigo, we don't want any ZANU-PF nonsense anymore. Anyone who is not going to talk about by-elections and the voter registration, Rigo, you must block them. We don't want that to be done. We are serious here. So the topic
Yes.
that you raised, the topic is about
Leader Barbara, before you go ahead, I understand very much, which is the reason why we were having this discussion, because there was this feeling that when we kick them out, it's a bit unfair for them, and they were complaining that it is unfair for them, and we wanted the people like yourself and everyone else to come out openly and to tell them that, okay, you are not needed here, or something like that, so that people know, in case we are not taking them, that they are not welcome. It's always good if people
no.
that
They are
way.
not, because they are not at all unfair to who? Unfair to who? How many things?
My sister
No.
Barbara.
I have the mic. Let me finish. I'm
My
talking
sister
about the
Barbara,
by-elections now.
you have the mic. Let's focus on the voters
Yes.
registration. Thank you.
Yes, I had to make this clear. We don't need to pretend here to be professionals and think that we accommodate these people when they are harassing people. People are suffer because of these people. We don't want them here. So the by-election issue, what I wanted to say, host, is the issue of the blitz and the by-election going concurrently. I think it was a mistiming for ZEC, in that the voter register, those people that are going to be registered now, they are not going to vote. If I need to be corrected if I'm wrong. They're not going to vote in the ballot. So why worry about this blitz? Is it not a way of trying to divert us? But we are not going to tire. We are going to try our best and do them concurrently. But I think next time we also have to have our input. When ZEC is making their plans, when they're doing their plans, we are the people. We are supposed to have a say. And also the issue of this voter registration. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We are
can
giving
hear
you a time.
The voter registration is biometric, isn't it? It's supposed to be biometric. But you find the information, or maybe people that are being registered now, you can't find them on the voters roll because they are entered manually. And then you ask yourself, by biometric wacho, where is it? Where is the biometric thing? Because you can't, if I register online now, or if I'm entered, my details are entered now online, they should appear everywhere. It should be real time. So this is where ZEC is rigging us. Why is it not? These are the issues that we are supposed to be talking to ZEC. If I can check my details, whether I'm a registered voter online, why can't I do it on myself? Why can't I register myself online, sitting in the comfort of my house? Why can't I do that? These are the issues that we must make noise about. That's where nobody that's where ZEC are rigs. There was an issue. I can't remember. I saw it. It was raised today, where in Kwekwe, where this constituency Yananduna, the Kwekwe a constituency, where there was a house, the address that was given there were 17 people that were registered on that house, and that house the address was non-existent, but there were 17 people that were registered under that address. These are the issues that we are supposed to address. These are the issues that we are supposed to raise. So if there's one issue, such an issue that was discovered, I'm talking about something today. People came to my inbox to say we must make noise about this, and I've started making noise about this thing. If we want to see this thing being rectified, because you can't have 17 people vanogara mimba one registered in a non-existent address. These are the issues that we are supposed to be talking. We don't even care about these people. They must not
Yes.
come here again.
Yes, before you arrived, you actually talked about that. You are talking about 17 people. There's actually a house there for the Kwekwe MP where there are 167 people who are registered on a house that is only 4 bedrooms, but there are social media reports that there are 167 people registered from the same address, and you would wonder how that is possible. This is the reason why we had some of those discussions, but we shan't go there. Let's go to Mambo Shoshe.
Thank you, host. Just like Barbara, I was also heating up, but I'm not going to spend much time on that. But as a stakeholder within Triple C, as a leader in Triple C, when someone comes on a platform and gives people malice and chalice and chants out a lot of lies, it's important for us to set the record straight so that the people will not go away with the lies. So I've had an opportunity to have a discussion with the so-called Member of Parliament for Chekut West, Nduna. I think it was on ZimEye. And when I gave out the facts of his case in Chekut West, he threw toys out of the pram and ran away and said he didn't want to come back to ZimEye again. People are not professional. He could not stand the truth that we were telling him on that platform, and he ran away. But the truth of the matter is, it is common knowledge, and by ZEC's own account, ZEC admitted to the mistake of them declaring Nduna a winner. And I'm saying admitted to a mistake of wrongly admitting, declaring him a winner. I'm saying, I'm putting wrongly in quotation marks, because we all know that they did it deliberately. But anyway, what is in the accounts of ZEC is they wrongly declared him a winner. And they also admitted, that is ZEC, they also admitted that yes, it was a mistake, but it can only, according to the electoral laws of Zimbabwe, that mistake can only be rectified in a court of law. And they referred Konjani to the courts. And he went to the courts. But we all know that our courts are captured. That's why this case hasn't been final, which is not Zimbabwe. Nduna would not be the member of parliament for Chegutu West. And I was surprised that you were saying that there are only two people who won elections twice. There are only two people,
Marcos, for sure we have lost you.
Lost election twice. Emerson Mnangagwa up until today, we don't even know by what number he claims to have. I just want to talk about what I was about to touch upon. She calls it misstyling by Zek. That's how we're having a voter registration at the same time when we're having by-elections. It's right now we have a task, a mammoth task of getting people to go and register for 2023, and we also have to deal with the issue of by-elections. Remember, this blitz was supposed to be have been done, a long time ago, sometime in December, getting into January, but they deliberately removed it because they wanted it to come alongside the by-elections so that would not get everything done. But the truth is, we are going to get everything done. You can see here the ploy by ZEC and ZANU-PF, because ZEC is ZANU, ZANU is ZEC. They work together. ZEC does not, does not want people to register, just like ZANU-PF. They deliberately encourage voter apathy. They don't want to see, remember, people registering en masse. They know the power of the people. They also know that if people turn out to register en masse and also eventually turn out to vote en masse, they will not be able to rig any election. Numbers matter. So Zimbabweans, this is where we are. We are on our own. ZEC is supposed to be, it's mandated by the constitution. Even if you go on their website, they will tell you there is a roadmap there that includes a massive voter education. But they never do that. They deliberately leave that out. They have a budget for voter education, but they never do that. They deliberately don't do that. So we end up, being given that responsibility, having that responsibility as Zimbabweans to educate ourselves, to do our own voter education. And we want, it should start with us here, the people in the diaspora. Let's not wait for the people on the ground or even point fingers. I've heard situations where people will be saying, people are not registering people. They are not registering. They are not registering. Let's not blame people. Let's not point fingers at other people, because here, you in America, in UK, in Australia, you have a role to play. You have a chance of changing the political landscape in Zimbabwe by just influencing the people that you know, your friends, your relatives, your members of your immediate family members. Tell them to go and register. I can tell you, if we're going to talk to people that are here and ask them how many people in your household you've gone to register vote, you shocked. I was laughing and joking with Barbara here when she was telling me that I was fighting with my daughter. She hasn't gone to register. How many people are doing that? If you talk to your household members, if you talk to your relatives to go and register, imagine, if all of us here, you just make 5 of your people to go and register. There are more than 2-3 million Zimbabweans in the diaspora. If we can just make it a point that every day you talk to your folks, you write in the family groups, and ask them to go and register. Where they don't have money to go and register, you are the provider. You've always been providing. Please talk to them, provide them with that $5, that $2. You might take it for granted that someone is saying she can't go and register because she doesn't have $2 for, to go and jump in a combi. They don't have that because that $2 is food for someone.
Unfortunately, we keep
members.
losing
Okay,
Chief Shoshe.
Okay.
George, can you go ahead? George, you can go ahead. Okay, it seems like George can't speak. D, can you go ahead?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to, follow on what the lady said, that look, let's not give in platforms to people that have got an opposing voice. So let's look at an analogy. One analogy is, you've got your church, and in your church you are preaching to people that are part of the evangelism ministry, and you say, go out, preach the gospel. Soon as you've done that, there you call in Satan himself. You say, Satan, now here's my pulpit, also talk to my people. You should have a second opinion on whether they should go out. It would be ridiculous. So this platform, CCC Diaspora, it is our platform to motivate ourselves, to marshal our troops, to begin to drive our message out there. We do not need the opposition, which is ZANU-PF surrogates, to come on our platform to oppose our voices. They have got their platforms. If someone wants to listen to what ZANU-PF has to say, well, you can join a ZANU-PF space and listen to their surrogates. But for our platforms, that is not the purpose of those. Now, somebody will say, oh, well, but you know what? There should be equal voices. And, we are complaining about that. They don't allow us to be on ZBC. Well, ZBC is publicly funded. You pay a radio license, you pay a television license annually to ZBC. That's your money. It is funded by both a CCC taxpayer, but likewise, it is also funded by a ZANU-PF taxpayer. So that's a public utility. So there is a mandatory expectation, and a legitimate one for that matter, that ZBC must allow equal voices to everyone. But when it becomes a privately funded, like in this instance, we are CCC Diaspora, we've got our own platform, we are privately funded, then we have no basis whatsoever to invite opposing voices to say opposing messages that essentially dampen the spirits of our troops to go out there and get the work done. That's all that I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the ZANU-PF guys here, you have heard it for yourself, that the CCC here doesn't welcome your voice, which dampens their spirits or which dampens our spirit. So you have heard for yourselves. So if you don't receive a mic, just know that it is the decision of our audience and our listeners, who are the CCC, and ourselves as a platform, because we are here to serve the CCC people. And I hope we are going to understand that. So if you join in and listen in, that will be good. You understand our side of the story. If there are those who want to go and listen in ZANU-PF spaces, then definitely you are also welcome to go and do that. Then maybe there will be a neutral platform where you can then go and exchange ideas, not on party platforms. I think you have heard for yourselves there. From there, let's go to Piniel. You are still here. Then we go to Peter. After Peter, Nicolette. Then we'll be wrapping up in 5 minutes. Piniel, you can go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I don't think it's wise to talk about ZANU-PF when their intention is to suppress us. We should focus on the ball these people divert us so that we kick off the net. We need to mobilize our people to vote, to look into issues that trouble people when they go to vote, and to see how we can help those who need the IDs and those who need the money to go to register to vote at distance locations. Otherwise, all these things like talking about it, Nduna, all these things, yes, it is some relevance somewhere, but it's like water lost in the under the bridge. We can't do anything about it. We have to focus on what we can do, what we can change, and how to rally our troops.
Thank you, Piniel there. From Piniel, let's go to Simba. Simba, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much for allowing me a chance to speak on the space here. I joined in a bit late. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, unfortunately, I joined in a bit late. I just have a contribution, maybe more of a suggestion rather than a question as such, with regards to this voter registration that's currently going on. We do know that ZEC, like somebody did say earlier, ZEC is ZANU PF and ZANU PF is ZEC. So what are we doing as Triple C to ensure that we deal with these ZEC shenanigans of understating the number of registered voters? We may go as much as encouraging everybody to go and register, but as long as we have no mechanism to counter what figures ZEC gives out, I think we still have a dilemma there. I don't know if there is any leadership from the Triple C, but if there is, obviously, would love to know what measures are we putting in place to ensure that when we do send our relatives, our families to go and register to vote, those registrations will really do count, and we know that we are registering for for the upcoming by-election, especially. Yeah, that's pretty much my just contribution there, guys. Thank you very much, and yeah, thanks for the space.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simba there. Unfortunately, we can't answer your questions, but what I know is we are pushing for electoral reforms so that the ground can be free and fair, and we are, as the party or as a party, definitely I know that everything is being done to make sure that ZEC is non-partisan, because by law it's supposed to be non-partisan. That's what I can say to that. But further than that, I can't answer your question. Peter, can you go and say your last words? Peter can't speak. Comrade Tim Pariwa, can you go ahead and speak? Pariwa?
Yes.
Okay, they can. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, thank you for the chance to speak on the space. Apologies, I came a bit late, but I just have one issue that I wanted to get clarity on from CCC. In fact, it's two issues. The first one is on the issue of the diaspora vote. Are we in any way working on a structure or a mechanism where we are still going to have people in the diaspora vote, even if will be just taken as a, I mean, it will not be taken as anything official, because ZEC and the Constitution made it clear that it is not going to happen. But if by the time we get to the 23 elections, if we have in place a system of our own as a party, where we can show that we are able to run elections and we have people in the diaspora voting and we get that one going, that should go a long way in proving to the world that there are people out here who are able to vote. I don't know if that is possible or if it can be done, but that would be quite important.
And the second one?
The second issue. Oh, sorry. I'm going to leave that one for now.
Okay. On the diaspora vote, there was a whole discussion that was done yesterday on the diaspora vote. There's a recording which is, I think, of 3 hours recording on diaspora vote. You can go on Change Radio platform. You will be able to find answers there because those questions were answered yesterday. So you can go and try to listen to that. Thank you so much. From there, George, can you say a few words?
Okay, how are you, family? How are you, CC? My question is this. In our structure of our party in CC, do we have a real structure which is following what do you call voter voters roll, and by the stubborn which ZEC is doing, what mechanism we can do to put more pressure on ZEC to push ZEC to be a little bit dependent on the voters roll. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. So definitely the issue of the voters roll and the party's access to the voters roll, I think the candidates will have access and to voters roll. Political parties usually have access to the voters roll. When that access is granted is the question, but I know that at some point in time there's access to the voters roll. Thank you for that question, but definitely in future spaces we'll be able to answer that for you. Otis, can you go ahead in a few words? Otis can't hear us. D, any last words before we remove you from the platform?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just a quick one. So we've got ZEC playing unfair referee. Now there's a number of verticals that we need to marshal our efforts on all at the same time. So we've got the economic vertical, we've got the local political vertical, but we also have got the international political vertical. What do I mean? We need now, immediately now, because there's been enough evidence gathered of ZEC violating the laws in impeding and in frustrating voter registration. So we need a local, whether it's a high court application urgently now, that becomes evidence of exhausting local remedies, where we can say, you know what, here are people, they attempted to register, their findings ZEC office is locked. Here are people, they have attempted to go, they are finding that the queues and the lines, so it's all an orchestration by ZEC to ensure that people do not register to vote. We know what will happen in the courts. There's no magic about it. The courts are captured by ZANU-PF, so we know that ZEC will win or ZANU-PF will win. But you see, once you've exhausted that local remedy, you can immediately follow up and file a complaint in the United Nations, because the voter rights are actually human rights. And their regulations stipulate that you must exhaust the local one. What that vertical does, you see, is that ZANU-PF and ZEC, they begin to delegitimize themselves before the election. You don't want to have Advocate Fulcrum engaging and challenging the courts the day after the results. It's too late. You want to engage now so that
anything that they do becomes a fodder against them, used against them, and they delegitimize the elections themselves by their conduct in the now. And by the time we get to the election, we will be having enough verticals by which we can say, you know what, yes, you can call yourself elected and you can call yourself you ran an election, but there is a United Nations application that we did that shows with tangible, irrefutable evidence that you did not run a free and fair election, and they will be called to actually account for it, because what UN does then is that they actually invite them and say, look, people are saying they're failing to register. Can you give reasons? If it's issues of resources and of finances, the United Nations has got enough of those. They would volunteer those to ZEC to say, you know what, ZEC, you don't have enough biometric voter registration points. Okay, here they are. You don't have enough vehicles to get out to get people to vote. Here they are. But we need, what I'm saying is, we need an application in the High Court of Zimbabwe now that actually is a complaint on voter frustration in the now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. D. Otis, can you now speak? Otis, you're on mute. Can you try to unmute and speak? Okay, it looks like Otis can't speak. Evidence, can you go ahead? Evidence.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. How are you, everyone? My question is that who voted Mr. Chamisa for the new president of CC? That's all.
Can I also have a question? Who voted Mr. Monzora for the president of MDC Alliance or MDCT, or I don't know which MDC he leads? Who voted Mr. Monzora?
Host, I think I need to come in here. Evidence, we have a voter registration here pinned on there. And I think it's mischievous of you to come and start asking questions which has nothing to do with what we have displayed on there. I think if you want to come and become mischievous, then we won't give you a voice to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, co-host. It's very interesting to have such a question from someone whom I later realized is from Monzora. I think it's a revenge question where he has to ask it, because that question has been asked to Monzora, who voted for you, and he came to try. I think he was just trying to be hilarious. It's humor is a good thing. Nicolette, any last words?
Thank you very much, host. In terms of the by-elections, looking at the voters' registration roll, I think today Team Pachedu provided some records where there are duplications in the voter registration roll, and I think as Triple C, it will be very important to actually lodge some legal complaint against that, because we find that in the past, ZEC has found ways to legitimize votes, and talking about the duplications on social media and stuff like that, that's not going to help anybody. When it comes to the elections and those duplications are still in the voter registration roll, they're going to be included. Those figures are going to be included. And if a legitimate complaint hasn't been made, then nothing is going to be done about it. So as opposed to waiting until 2023 when people start to raise these issues, I think the time to raise the issues is right now. And I would like to agree with the gentleman who spoke before about complaining legally to the courts about the voter suppression that's going on. So I think this is also another legal claim that needs to be made, because ZEC is the authority on the elections, and when they endorse somebody as one, even in the international community, they'll say, oh, we've done our due process in as an electoral commission, and this is the person who's won. So when it comes to the complaints, I think they need to be done now, and the complaints need to be done legally, so that when triple C complains later, there's a legal basis to say that we've made a complaint before, and ZEC actually hasn't done anything about it. So those are my final words. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolette. And we are happy that you were here to help us in the discussion with your wonderful points. And thank you, everyone who has been here. In case those who don't know who voted for our president, starting in 2018, when over 2.6 million voted for him, he's still the people's president. And when a new party comes, definitely it comes in with its leadership. Every political organization has its internal processes, and in those internal processes, definitely our president, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, is the one who was chosen to lead the new outfit. So that question was really, I don't know the intention, but I just saw that the person was definitely was coming from people who were asked that question for a long time, like you, Monzora, who voted for you, Dagi, who voted for you, or something like that. It's the same question that he was trying to return. Unfortunately, for our brothers, you can go ne mombe dzevanu unosara nedanga mombe dzaenda, something like that. I heard such a proverb that you remain with the crow when the cattle have gone. So Advocate Nelson Chamisa has the people, and that won't change anytime soon. So last words from our co-host, Mr. Washington.
Thank you, host, and I also want to thank the listeners for coming in. I know we've been in and out different subjects that we touched, but I just want to say thank you. It is what draws and determines where we are heading, and I think as you all aware that this is only the beginning. This is bigger than an individual. This is bigger than individuals. This is CC, Citizens Coalition for Change. And we are going to continue growing and exchanging views. Some may be pleasant, some may be unpleasant, but as a party, we are going to reach the end where we are going to be able to provide the Zimbabweans with what they have been looking for years. So with those little words, I just want to thank you. And my last word is to say to you, let's support our party, ladies and gentlemen. We could talk all we want, but without supporting our party, we are not going to win these elections. So I'm giving every person who's here a challenge. Today we didn't put a link, our fundraising link, but we have already started working towards these elections. And if at all anything, including even going to the courts and challenge about all these duplicates that we are finding, it's all money, 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 money. So in terms of resources, we need to resource our party. How do we resource our party? We've got a link on our CC, on the host profile there. Those who are able to to donate, please go and make your donations. Those who are able to support with resources, whether it's smart devices, mobile phones, whether it's laptops, whether it's a computer or tablets, or any other resource in terms of your expertise that you can share. We want to hear from you. DM us and we'll talk from there. We are on the road in building our country. Together, united, we'll do this. Back to you, host. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone who came here. You are always allowed to listen in. And definitely, we understand the passion that goes into these discussions. And we hope when you leave, you get the important points that have been said here. When those from the other side who are said to go to then go and discuss, I hope they'll be able to go and discuss the issues, not just to discuss the space, but the issues themselves and how to make Zimbabwe better. So thank you so much for coming. We are going to listen to a song as we are parting, and know that you are always welcome here to listen. No one is said you cannot come and listen. You can, maybe speaking might be hard, but listening, we want you to come and listen in so that you also hear our side of the story, and maybe one day it's going to change your heart and you join the CCC movement. Thank you so much. Let's listen to the song as we part.
Kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nevan, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nevan, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nevanu, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nevan, kugwana chamisa. Kugwisana nevan, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nevanu, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nezano ramwari, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nezano ramwari, kugwana chamisa, kugwisana nezano ramwari. Amwe vakachera kumba vachida kuti awire, vakazowira varivo mukombairo, vakazowira varivo mukombairo. Amwe vakachera kumba vachida kuti awire, vakazowira varivo mukombairo, vakazowira varivo mukombairo. Murume anonzi Chamisawe, itariro yevanhu, itariro enderera, chirikadzi nemapofu, itariro yeharahwa, chembere nezvirema. Murume anonzi Chamisawe, itariro yevanhu, itariro enderera, chirikadzi nemapofu, itariro yeharahwa, chembere nezvirema. Kakuvana ye kupedza nguvu, kugwana chamisa, kurwisana nezano ramwari, kugwana chamisa, kurwisana nevanhu. Saka kugwana ye kupedza nguvu, kugwana chamisa, kurwisana nezano ramwari, kugwana chamisa, kurwisana nevanhu. Ichakwana zvayo nguva muchazvinzwisisa kuti mukomana iyeyu akazodzwa nedenga kusunungura Zimbabwe kubva muutapwa. Ichakwana chete nguva muchazvinzwisisa kuti mukomana iyeyu akazodzwa nedenga